In this video, I'm going to show you step-by-step instructions on how to replace the battery of the Google Pixel 7a. This is unlike the rest of the Google Pixels in the sense that you open it up from the back. I've already had it on the hot plate for about 15 minutes because these are notoriously tough on the adhesive here. So it's nice and warm, the adhesive should have softened, and what you can see on this side, you see that small gap there, that's because this battery is swelling, another very common problem that I found with the Google Pixel phones. That's why I'm sort of racing to get all these battery videos online to try and help you the best I can. To start off the repair, the easiest way to do this is using one of these suction cups like this. I'll leave a link in the description below on where you can buy one of these because they're genuinely very, very helpful for repair. And then we're going to use the alcohol bottle, and I'm just going to run a bead of isopropyl alcohol. This is 99% stuff, and I'll just run a little bead around those edges, and that's going to soften the adhesive further. Because of the shape of this expanded battery, I'm struggling to get this this suction cup to stick well on it. But look here where I've just dropped some alcohol. It's made the gap for me. So the aim is to get a gap what's about that big so that we can get one of these small guitar picks like that. And we're going to insert it in about 2 to 3 millimeters, certainly no more than 5 millimeters. And we're just going to run it into that gap in the edge of the phone. When you come across any resistance, add some more isopropyl alcohol. And notice how I'm doing this on the heat mat. If you don't have a heat mat available, then you will be using a hairdryer or a heat gun, in which case you may have to continue to reheat it as you're working on the device. But you can see the alcohol is really helping us here. Where I struggle to get it lifted even with the suction cup, the alcohol is allowing it to sort of pop up and come off real nice and easy. So I'm just running around the bottom edge. When we get to this top edge where it's metal, it is a little bit more difficult, and you can't smell through YouTube yet, although maybe in the future that might become a thing. But these batteries do get a certain smell to them when they've really blown and expanded like this one has. So I'm just, on this point, I'm sort of lifting and prying because the adhesive is around that metal part as well, so it's a bit trickier to get off. This is probably the most difficult part of this job, is removing the back cover safely and not causing any damage, so just take your time with this as well. So now that I'm on that top edge, I'm going to add some more alcohol and just carry on running this pick in the gap, and I think we've just about got this removed now, and that's it. So once you've got all the edges separated, you can just flip it back like that, and that's it removed. Whilst it's warm as well, you'll find that the adhesive around the edges is easier to remove. It'll take a minute to peel that back whilst you're working on it. So with the adhesive removed, let's take it over to the workbench now where we'll get them. I'm going to use my supersonic electric screwdriver alongside a Torx T3 bit, and I'm going to begin removing all these screws. Now, I don't recall if I've done one of these before, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to keep all these screws that I remove really nice and organized, laying them out alongside the phone, sort of in the position that I take them out from. So in case the screws are different sizes, at least I know a rough area of where they come from, because looking at this, there is quite a few to remove so that I can access the connector for the battery. But I'm just sort of working through it, and I think there's only one what's a different size so far. Just be careful whenever you're working around cameras. They are very sensitive to dust, dirt and moisture. When we seal it back up, I'll show you how to clean it off a little bit. But for now, just avoid touching these cameras, please, please, please. The last one is this little tiny one here. I'm going to try and remove with the right screwdriver, which I think is like a T2 or something. Yes, a T2. I don't know if it needed to come out or not, but it looked like it did. So now that we've got that, this bottom part has sprung out a little bit, and I'm just going to lift up. I'm just being careful because I'm not sure what's connected to it or not. So I can see it's snagged up a little bit here, but this flash cable seems to be connected. So I'm just going to be careful around there because I don't want to damage anything. So looking at this, we need to get this flash out of the way as well. So I'm going to get under that with a blade. It's a very thin flex cable like that, but it's stuck down to that plastic shield that you need to remove. So we'll get that out of the way and just tuck it through there. And you can see there's a very, very thin cable there that we definitely did not want to break. So just be aware of that when you're taking this apart. Then we've got this shield to remove. We can see that the cable runs for the battery here. So we're going to use that T2 screwdriver again, the smaller one. Remove this screw, and that should allow us now to get the tweezers in the shield. It looks like it's got a little catch on it just there. And then we can use the plastic spudger to disconnect the battery. Now, with these Google Pixel batteries, they have a strange little system that's meant to help you get these batteries out. Now, I could never really get it to work, if I'm honest. So you have to peel this bit of plastic here, and then the intention is that you have to run it up like that to sort of cut underneath it, a bit like when you're flossing your teeth, I suppose. And yeah, this is what you're meant to do, but I can never seem to get it to work properly, although it does feel like it's working a bit. I usually end up snapping it. We'll try and use it the best that we can. So I'm just sort of side by side flossing that battery. Just beware here, look, because there's a little flex cable. What we don't want to end up cutting with this plastic, because it will end up cutting through it for sure. I'm going to add a bit of isopropyl alcohol onto the plastic stuff to try and cut through it, and I'll probably end up shortening down this bit of video. I've just definitely 100% noticed a change since I added that alcohol. It's made it a lot easier, so if you add that from the start, you'll probably find that it makes the job a hell of a lot easier, because it's sort of cutting through fairly fast now to a point where I should be able to just go like that and get it removed. It's not ideal at all, that, is it? But look at how swollen that battery is. So common with these Google Pixels. Get this bit of, look at it. Anyway, now that we've got that battery out, you can dispose of that using your local recycling instructions on how to get rid of batteries. Everywhere is different, of course. I'm just using my finger to rub off the battery adhesive, and that is that. Let's go and find a new battery for it. So, rather frustratingly, when I was buying parts for these last night or the day before, there was no adhesives available for it. And everybody knows how much I like to use the genuine adhesives where possible. However, I've got some 10mm Tessa tape, what's going to do exactly the same job as the original one did. And then we're going to apply the tape just to the back here. And this does come with that little plastic tool thing, so if somebody decides that they need to remove this battery again in the future, they will at least be able to struggle like I did. Let's peel off the back sheet for that, and then we can install the battery, placing it down inside the gap that it's designed for. Reconnect this just here. It can be a bit tricky because these cables are a little bit stiff, but make sure that it sits nice and flat, and then we can get that shield, reinstall that, and then we've got one T2 screw that holds it down. That's nice and secure. So now I'm going to thread that flash just through this little gap here, the same way we took it out. That's the most awkward bit about this, but once it's in there, we can just apply a little bit of pressure, making sure that it sits in as it's supposed to, just like that. The first screw that I'm going to pop in is this very small one. Get that secured down, and then I'm going to apply a bit of pressure onto this guy here to make sure that that sticks back down where it needs to go. And then we're going to work slowly through all these screws, making sure that we get every single one installed nice and tight, but not too tight that we break something. But yeah, apart from that very short one, it looks like these are all actually the same size. Like I said at the start of the video, I think this is the first Google Pixel 7a battery that I've actually replaced. So let me know how you think I did. And if you're having a go at this yourself at home, or you're doing it in the workshop, leave me a comment below and let me know how you got on as well. I don't reply to every comment, but I do generally read them, and they do entertain me sometimes as well. So I appreciate everybody who leaves a comment, and I also appreciate every single person who are subscribed to the channel. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button. I love you all. I think that this is the last screw. And we're all secured back down. It's just this bit here what seems to not sit perfectly flush. And I just want to make sure that it's not going to cause us problems when we put this. Can you see this bit here? It just doesn't seem flat. So if I put the, oh no, I think it's designed to be like that because that sits perfectly flat. Nah, it's all good. It's all good. So the last thing that we need to do, as I said at the start of the video, or not long ago in the video, I was unable to get seals and adhesives for this model of phone. So for this one, I am going to be using some 5mm tester tape to re-secure that back cover down. It's not ideal, however, it is significantly better than using things like T7000, B7000 glues. Right, we really don't like glues. Some things glue is good, but generally glue bad. Tape good, glue bad. So I apply the tape along each edge. So we just cut it nice and tight to each other, and then on these edges we just cut around the corners. So just cutting each corner in, and then because we spent the time earlier cleaning up when we had it warm, so we can peel off the rest of it. And basically you just got to give it a little blowing off. That's all. That's the only exciting bit. And then make sure that you do the inside of it as well, so we don't want any dust in there, because that's, as long as you don't touch it. If you touch it, you need to wipe it with a cloth, a clean dry cloth with no chemicals on it. But if it's just dust, blowing it off with just clean dry air, this is never going to stick, will definitely help it. So let's re-secure it down now. Apply some good pressure along all those edges and just really rub it in, and then turn on the phone. I wonder if this customer will buy a screen protector off us, because this one is screwed. Good pressure along all the edges, and then just clean up the phone, get all your mucky fingerprints off there, make sure that it's sat nice and flat, and then you can just run some testing of the device. That just about completes this repair on how to replace the battery on a Google Pixel 7a. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.